your wife and said, bless you, God, the King of the universe. She'akon yem dvaru, take my mother and father, always next to you. I said, She'akon, my wife, it was not your decision. Don't think you decide. You didn't decide anything. Borei Olam put this together. And I'm not Jamaica mistakes. I'm not the mistakes. I'm the real deal. I am the real deals.
Rabbi, can I ask a question?
No. In the end of the stories. We don't interfere stories. Story, we don't interfere. After the stories. If this is so, now listen to this. The German is looking at this guy and he said, such a chutzpah. You tell me that if I'm going to kill you or not is in the hand of God? They appoint him with the weapons. A minute before they're going to shoot him, the commander-in-chief of their army went in. So what are you doing here? We need you outside. He said, no, but we have a Jewish child. Leave him alone, come outside. They left. The child succeeds to run once again. He survived from the Holocaust. 15 children in Bnei Brak. 75 grandchildren. He passed away 3 years ago. Bless us, God, the King of the universe. That everything that happened in my life happened for a reason. I share the stories. And one of the, maybe in the end of the spiritual, one of the holidays, I told them, you know what Pesach is? You know what the split of the sea is all about? The split of the sea is to remind us that anything that happened in our life is good. And the fact that your husband is upset or your wife is upset with you is also good. And everything that happened is good. And if your children is making a little balagan in your life, is good. And if you have a certain sickness or you're losing money, it's also because Hashem is running the world. And God do not do mistakes. God running your life in a perfect ways. Let's see if I can find it. Wow, what a blessing is that. This is Shakun Yabidvo. I will tell you. When I bought my house, I told you the story, I'm just going to get into the bottom line. When I bought my house, I put offer 1.4, 1.375. Then we had no money, the deal fell down. What do you think? I was happy in that moment? No. Why such a good house, such a good neighborhood? Baruch Hashem, a good deal. 1.4 is a good deal. Go right now and try to buy it. I met Binyamin. 1.4 is an amazing deal. And I was so upset and deep down, and my wife told me, they have a rabbi in the center. Monday night, they're talking about faith and trust. You have to go to listen to him. So what's the name of the rabbi? He said, it happened to be that his name is Rabbi Vaknin. Every Monday night, Gate of Trust. He's talking about a lot of faith. Maybe you need to listen to him to make your faith a little stronger. I got the message, it was loud and clear. And I said, I made the switch. I said, Gan Zor Tova. It's also for good. 4 or 5 months later, I bought the same house, 1.15, $250,000. If I just knew 4 months before that this is what's going to happen, you know what's going to happen when I'm going to get the deal, the news that the deal fell down? I will dance. Thank God. But you know what's the problem? We don't live in the future. We see the present. And in the present, we cannot see the result. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he came to save the Jews, he saw the Jews suffering. He came and he said, God, why have you done bad to these people? Well, I don't understand that God was very upset. You telling me that I did something bad? Why have you done bad? I'm doing bad. I'm running the world and I'm running it in the perfect ways. How can you tell me that I'm doing something bad? 1 year later, Moshe Rabbeinu was singing. Moshe. You know why he was singing? It's the same word, as. Kimeaz bati. God, why have you done bad? In which word? As. When he was, you know why? So Moshe Rabbeinu said, God, if I just knew 1 year ago that the reason that you make the Jewish nation suffer is to reduce 190 years less, I will dance in that moment. I will dance in the moment of difficulty. You know why? Because you reduce If you're just going to know that the ticket that you just got today in the morning, or somebody that scratched your car, and the business that you lost, literally save your life, save your children's life. Who know what? You know what you're going to do? You're going to dance in this moment of difficulty. But what's the problem? We live in the present. And the message of Pesach is, live the future like it happened now. If I just knew, for every woman that told me no, when I went out on a date, that at the age of 27, being the last guy in my yeshiva, from 555 boys, I was the last one in the yeshiva to get married. All of them had 2 or 3 children. And I went to as many dates you want. And you know many times they told me no and no and no. And many times, one of them is really, because I was in contact almost for 1 or 2 months, and we almost got, I was there to propose. And 5 minutes before I proposed, twice happened to me. 5 minutes, one of them I took to the cotton to propose. 5 minutes before, I'm already on the cotton, I'm already after the car, the Taranta, that, the old car, not like your car, the brand new cars. Open roof, America. I'm talking about barely, a car that barely made the Yerushalayim, how do you call it? Aliyot. How do you say Aliyot? Hills. Barely made the hills. I got to the court in 5 minutes before she told me, I'm not interested. Rabbi Vaknin loved to talk. It was maybe the only times in my life that on the way back, I took her back to Bnei Brak. For 1 hour, I was silent completely. Not because I was happy. I asked deep down, God, why? Why I lost the business? Why did this deal fell down? Why did I get the tickets? Why my son is making? And God said, She'akol niya b'dvaro. I'm running the world, and the world is perfect. She'akol niya b'dvaro. If I just knew that years later I'm going to meet my wife, the greatest gift in my life, I will dance in the minute that she told me no. Thank you for telling me no. Because I know that years later, she's going to be a woman by the name Shlomit. A peaceful moment, a perfect moment that is going to come in to my life. And will bring me 5 children, many more to come. Let us say amen. Will bring me so much joy and laughter. He said, Baruch Hashem, Borei Olam. Borei Olam, why? But in that moment, Binyamin, I didn't see the future. Why are you getting upset? I'm doing it for you. You're getting upset. Why bad things happen to good people? Like God is making mistakes, you can't forget. She'akol niya b'dvaro. Every time you have questions against God, what do you have to do? Moshe, what do you have to do? Take a glass of water. And say it. Not vodka, water. I forgot, I'm dealing with Bukharim. Okay, take a vodka. Okay, it's good. After Pesach, you can take a vodka. Don't worry. And he said, bless you God, the King of the universe. That everything that happened in my life, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'akol niya b'dvaro. She'akol niya b'dvaro. Now you will never forget this blessing. Now you're going to every second, every obstacles, every tickets. When you get ticket and the police, instead of screaming at them, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to send you people at night, that you see the money at night, don't worry, we have connections. I have the money, you don't know, you mustn't. Instead of that, what do you say? You went into the airport and you missed the flight, and you lost 5 tickets, and all the vacation got ruined. What do you have to do? Glass of water. When people tell you take a glass of water and relax, don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't get upset. You know what you have to do? Remember? She'akol niya b'dvaro. And this is the first message of today. What's the message of today? The first one is? She'akol niya b'dvaro. Borei Olam, she'akol niya b'dvaro. Anything that happened in my life is perfect. Maybe now you don't see it. But God, you know what? I have patience. I have patience to see the result. I have patience to see the result and to get in to the end of the road. And knowing that what you're doing in my life is perfect. If this is so, I will leave you maybe another with two messages, but Rochelle, you want to ask questions? Now we are after the stories. You never interfere with questions in the middle, because then you ruin the whole concept, the whole message. Now that the message was a course, we can ask. Yes. Yes, Rochelle, what's the questions?
So if everything's perfect the way God is making the 2 shidduchim, my question was, why are there divorces?
Very nice. Beautiful questions. So the question is much deeper Why do we have Masechet Gittin? Why do we have Masechet? Why do we have a whole books in Gemara, Shpaktet, that called Gittin? Why do we have a courthouse that today you can get married in the matter of one day? If you have enough money, certain places, you pay cash, 3 hours, you are gone. Divorce, yes. Why? Why do we have divorce? It's 2 reasons to these questions. And I'm not talking about unusual cases, meaning like drug users, addiction of alcohol, addiction of gambling, addiction of what else? Abuse, physical abuse. I'm not talking about these cases. Definitely, this. I'm going to tell you 2 reasons. One reason is either today our generation is very lazy to try to work to make the marriage work. The easiest ways, you know why our parents never had divorce? Because there was no plan B. Today, before a person is getting married, you already have plan B, C, D, and H. You already have 5 plans, just in case you don't know this. And you always keep the phone numbers of plan B and plan C in contact. Don't look in your phone and the phone of your husband. You're going to find a lot of surprises. You have all the plan until T in the phones. Why do you keep your plans? People are already coming in when they are not fully committed to this marriage. They're always asking themselves questions, and it's so easy today for a stupid fight. I know because I'm dealing with this, being a messenger of God. The fight that people have is nonsense. And they made it a crisis fight. Listen, we need to go to the rabbis. Let's finish it. Hello? You have 4 children. You're going to ruin their life forever. For what exactly? So, today our generation is a very easy generation. Not because it's supposed to be divorced. Because, people always live with the mind, the grass of the neighbor might be greener. Look greener, might be greener. Maybe I can find a better wife. Maybe I can find a better husband. And later on, they're crying forever for the mistake that they did. And sometimes it's too late. The first answer I'm going to give you, people is easy to shoot. People is easy to use atomic bombs. What's the most common fight between people, especially a newlywed, the first year? Every second word, let's divorce. You don't really mean it. So why are you using it so many times? The word divorce cannot be used until, God forbid, the husband and the wife sit in a courthouse and signing the get. Until then, you never allowed to mention the word, let's divorce. Today, so common this word, every time your wife make you a little headache, let's finish it. I'm not going, that's it. I don't need you. You're going to stay with the children. I'm going in, be free man, single. I will leave you the house, leave me alone. You hear that? People is willing to give up very fast. This is one of the answers. Maybe no Rabbi will give you such an answer, but this is the emet. The emet is, people is easy to shoot and to use the triggers of divorce. Very light-headed. Second answer is, sometimes that also happens. The zivug is mishamayim. When a person gets married, either because he's not righteous enough, the zivug have to be from the Shorish and Neshama. Shorish and Neshama, now I'm going a little Kabbalistic, not deep. From the source, I don't know if I ever told you, I got late to my own weddings, 1 hour. My weddings, I got late. I was the last one to show up in my weddings. Everybody is there, and why? Because instead of having all this nonsense of pictures, religious people, we don't buy these pictures. We don't have time for this nonsense. We're finishing the whole Tehillim. We're going to Kivot Tzadikim. We're going to the Kotel. We're praying that our life is going to be successful. Picture will not guarantee your life to be successful. The rate of divorce is 80%. Picture didn't help. Now, when you're going to pray, notice the image. Nice, no? It's a bit. So I went to pray. And one of the rabbis that I was wedding, I was waiting outside of his room for 1.5 hours. He's one of the 26 hidden tzaddikim. He's a hidden tzaddik. Don't ask me now, Sfaradim. Who is the rabbi? No, I'm not going to tell you. So just don't ask. Rabbi, we need to go there. It was 22 years ago. Don't ask me even if I remember where he was. I went into his house. I was waiting outside. I said, I'm not going to get married until I'm going to get this blessing. I don't know. The rabbi took his time. 1 hour. Okay, I told the guy, hello. He said, listen, we don't bother. And then he opened the door and he looked at me. And I told him I'm getting married. He looked at me once again and then he hugged me. He picked me up in the hair and he said, your zivug, your wife, is from the 6 days of creation. When God made Adam and Eve, your soul and your wife's soul was included. You know what it means? You're driving from Yerushalayim all the way to the north. With that feeling and that knowing. He's a hidden tzaddik. He's 9 hours driving. They said about Israeli, we're not driving fast, we're flying slowly. I definitely was flying slowly. What usually take 1 hour and 15 minutes from Yerushalayim all the way, it took me 20 minutes. I was pushing the gas. I said, listen, I'm getting married, I need to come in time. It was already 1 hour later. And I got Baruch Hashem safe and sound. And the rest is history. To have the mazal and the zchut that your wife and your husband will be the same match from the original soul, you have to pray a lot. You have to pray a lot and you have to make a lot of zechuyot that is going to happen. If there's any divorce, can be that the match is perfect, but is not from the same. Because I will explain. Before a man and a woman coming into the world, they are one soul. One soul. In heaven, they divide the soul to 2, and they put it in 2 bodies. Now, all your life you have to search for that lost items. You know how you call Isha? Ladies, don't get offended. You are a lost items. You know, like you're losing iPhones, you're losing cash, you're losing, how do you call this watch? iWatch. You're losing, right? Happen to be that. And you're searching for it. If something is expensive, let's say you lost a diamonds, you're not going to stop until you're going to find it. You know how they call your wife? Rochelle, you know what's the name of your wife? Metzia. Lost items. Now, it's taken us, and I met you find it. Rochelle, I can tell you, Esh. You made it good, Rochelle. You made it good. You made it Esh, not good. I approve this message. No. But you know how long it took you to find it? Why? Because they're lost items. We are in a lost and found. You know lost and found company? Lost and found. And you're going around and you're trying to find. If you're lucky enough, you're going to find it. Most of us did succeed. Not all of us. Because sometimes the action that people did before marriage was such a bad actions, spirituality-wise. Now we're not going to get to details. But some certain averot, that their wife, that was their match, was not equal to him anymore. She doesn't deserve to get a person that did so many averot and went so down in his actions. So, because of that, sometimes divorce meaning that the match was a good match, but it's not from the same soul. It was not the lost and found that you look. It was a watch, the same I watch, but it's not your I watch. It's the same phone, but not your wife. It was the same things. Look, the same 13, the same, but it's not yours. The memory inside and the pictures is lost because the phone is not yours. So yes, you got the phone working, but then you have to start everything again. So if it's good, you're lucky, and if not, because you lost a lot of things on the way. So this is the 2 answers that I'm going to offer you. And if this is so, ladies, gentlemen, I will continue to the next message. The next message is, I realize that it's very difficult for us. Something that happened last week, parasha, and then I'm going to share with you something from this week, parasha. Last week portion of the week, and this week portion of the week. 2 beautiful messages to life that will transfer your life. The first one is from last week. So the first message is, what's the first message? That's the message. What's the message? Come on. What a beautiful message. Every day that you're going to bless, what are you going to remember? That my wife is God is good, God is good. God is good, no matter how much headache, no matter she's screaming. She is good. You know why? שהכל נהיה בדברו. בורא עולם do not do mistakes. Perfect match. If this is so, we're moving into the new one. What's the new message? The new message is like this. This week parasha, the pasuk said in the Torah, "Vayar Moshe vayitav be'enav." In Rashi writes, "Oda velo bosh." Now we'll explain. Moshe Rabbeinu is rebuking the children of Aaron HaKohen. They did a certain avera that Moshe Rabbeinu got very upset. And he rebuked them right away. They put their life in danger. Being a Kohen, when you're walking into Beit HaMikdash, and when you're eating the food, you have to be pure completely. So Moshe Rabbeinu saw certain things. I'm not going to get the details, because the details here is not important in that case. But he saw them doing something that was wrong. He rebuked them. Now the children had so much dignity, they didn't respond. A, because Moshe Rabbeinu is the rabbi, and B, because their father, Aaron HaKohen, was there. Aaron stood up, and he explained Moshe Rabbeinu why they did it. He explained. You know what Moshe Rabbeinu did? He stood up and said, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." Oda velo bosh. How many people you know that we need to admit? I had a couple of days. You know how difficult it is for people to admit? Your wife put you, and instead of justify it and find 200 reasons why to justify what you did, just stand up and say, "I'm sorry." And don't be ashamed to say, "I'm sorry." A, because I'm sorry, remind you that you're a human being. And B, because I'm sorry. And this is what the wife was screaming to this week and today. She said, "Rabbi, all what I want them to stop justify, just to tell me I'm sorry, that's it. I don't want to argue with him." But not only he doesn't say, he justifies that with 200 reasons. Because of the, and not only because of, you know what man is expert to do? Man is expert to flip the story and to make you the blame. You blame your husband, 5 minutes later, you apologize. "I'm sorry, my husband." How did he do it? Well, he's a good husband. Gentlemen, the guy's good. No wonder why he's making money. What do you think he's making money? What do you think? He's a foolish guy. He knows how to make money. You live in a beautiful home. You have an amazing life. Why? Because your husband is an expert to flip the customers. And the same way that he's flipping the customer, how do you call the house that we buy? We flip it. We flip everything that we have. We flip the watch. We flip the cars. We flip. Today, you don't have to sell the car. You flip it. Everything is flipped. You come and you blame him. And instead of the husband said, "Chatati, aviti pasha," what is he doing? Flipping. He's so expert. 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, it's because of you. You made me headache. You put me in the corner. I'm sorry, Behemet, I'm sorry. And then after that, one day later, how can he be from the beginning blaming him? Happened to me that I'm the one that I'm sorry. Well, the guy's good. The guy's good. Moshe Rabbeinu, trust me, had maybe 20 reasons why to flip the story. Moshe Rabbeinu, the biggest rabbi in the world history, the most perfect human being, he will admit to say, "I'm sorry." Come Rashi and said, I was crying when I saw it. So, what a rabbi, not for no reason. I'm in love with Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm in love with these rabbis. I always said, if I had the ability to go back to the future, I will choose the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu. One of the reasons is this one. Oda velo bosh. He said, "I'm sorry," and he was not embarrassed. In our history, 2 giants made averut. 2 kings. 2 kings made averut. One of the kings made one avera, and the punishment that God gave them, his children lost anything to do with kingdoms. Nothing. He lost the kingdomship forever. The other king made 2 averut. 2 major sin. And God forgive him. 5 minutes later, God forgive him. And his children, until Biat Mashiach Tzidkenu, they are the only king that can be. What's the name of these 2 kings?
Rabbi.
And the first one? Perhaps for the American people, I would said King Saul and King David. Shaul HaMelech and David HaMelech. You like Emmanuel loved the King Saul, perhaps. Yes. You see, for the people that went out to Yale, Princeton, Harvard, Columbia, and Stanford, the 5 Ivy Leagues, I have to tell you, King Saul is something that you can recognize. Shaul HaMelech made 1 mistake. 1 mistake. And the punishment was that he's going to have a replacement. He will have to go away. And none of his children will ever become the king. David HaMelech, King David, made major 2 mistakes. Nothing happened. Shlomo HaMelech is the king. And then all the children until Beat Mashiach Tzidkenu. Mashiach Tzidkenu, when he's going to come, who's going to be the king? From which tribes? Yehuda. Why? Because he's going to be from David HaMelech. And the question is why? Why? God is racist? What is that? I don't understand. Why he chose Shaul over David over Shaul? Because Shaul HaMelech, when the prophet came to him and said, you made a sin, what did he do? It's not me, it's the nation. They're the one that pushed me pressures. They're the one, I was under pressure. He's justified the mistake that he did. He said a king is a person that knows how to take responsibility. If you're justified, you're not a king, you're a slave. I'm sorry, I do not fire you from a job. You do not fit for these jobs. Attitude that going in the gene of excusing, of justified, is attitude of a slave, not attitude of a king. You know what makes you a king? You know what makes you a leader? Not to be perfect. Is to stand up in front of the community and say, you know what? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Yes, it's going to be embarrassment. Yes, you're going to get the heat. Yes, CNN and NBC is going to be there to catch you. This is what exactly happened to Yehuda. When Yehuda had a relationship with a woman that pretended to be a prostitute, Yehuda, the chosen son, the righteous son, and Tamar give him a hint. What Yehuda said? He didn't hide behind. He had the ability to kill Tamar. Nobody's going to know the secret. No camera, no nothing. You know what Yehuda did? Stood up and said, Tzadka mimeni Tamar. In this moment, God said, this jinn is the jinn that I want to be the king. His grandchildren will become the king, and forever until Mashiach is come. Who is it? What's the name of David HaMelech? David came from where? From Yehuda. Son after son. Because when the prophet came to David HaMelech and said, you made the mistakes, he didn't do flips. You know what he said? Chatati l'Hashem. Borei Olam, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. In that moment, 1 minute later, you know what the pasuk said? Gam Hashem i'ivir chatatcha lo tamut. God forgive you for the sins. You're not going to die, and your children will continue to be the kings. You know why? Because he knew how to say, I'm sorry. Wow, what a level. What a level. What a level. The second message from last week, portion of the weeks, to our life being a marriage, to our shalom bayit, to our chinuch yeladim, the education is to teach them and to teach ourselves. You're not perfect. Nothing happened. When I'm being a rabbi, made the mistakes. Sometimes, sometimes I'm happy because the mistakes remind me that I'm a human being. Don't get carried away. You're not the angels. You're not Moshe Rabbeinu. You're not Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Relax. People respect you. Not. It's all good. It's all good. Put your 2 legs. You're still doing mistakes. And yes, indeed. And I'm not ashamed to go into the house a minute before Pesach. Maybe 2 hours before the holidays, I didn't tell my wife. I was driving to buy something that my wife asked me. And then I made a stop in one of the houses, maybe 1 hour before Pesach, before the holiday. And the woman didn't believe. She said, Rabbi, what are you doing here? I came in with a box of matzot, and I gave it to them, and I said, it was an incident that I was involved. I just came here to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made a mistake. I'm sorry that I got involved in something that was not supposed. Nothing. She was in shock. She said, you're not normal. You don't need it, you're the rabbi. I don't understand. What's mean you're the rabbi? But the fact that I am a rabbi, it means that I'm not going to ask him sorry. David HaMelech asked him sorry. Yehuda asked him sorry. And I'm better from them, I didn't understand. What's mean? It's like when people come to me, when I fix the sidurim, when I fix the chairs, when I prepare the chumashim for people. No, you don't need it, you're the rabbis. Rashi HaKadosh, Rashi used to clean the synagogues and his bare foot. He used to go down. He used to go like this and clean. So I'm better from Rashi, I didn't understand. What do you mean you're the rabbi? You're the rabbi is making you better from who? You're the rabbi meaning you have to be a role model to do it. You have to be a role model to say I'm sorry. Not to ask I'm sorry. Saying I'm sorry is to become a king. Justified is to become a slave. What do you want? Maybe you're good at being a slave because you know how to flip. You are a flipper. But you're a slave. But if you say, I'm sorry, you're not a slave. Yes, you might going to be embarrassed, but you're a king. Because a king is a person that knows how to take responsibility and do not look aside. And do not blame nobody. Last but not least, with this I'm going to conclude. Wow, this one I heard it this week. What a message. This week, you're going to jump and you're going to say it. Listen to the next message. We know that this week parasha talking about what? Metzora. What is Metzora? Leprosy. Why did the person get leprosy? Leprosy is a skin disease. Why did the person get leprosy? Why is he getting leprosy? Anyhow. לשון הרע. Bad speech. Bad speech, לשון הרע. How do you call it in English? Derogatory. Perhaps. I love this word. איזה? איך? Is it good? You're a prophet? Okay, Baruch Hashem. Now, Michael, what's the connection? Very simple. The person spoke לשון הרע is getting. This is for a different class. But today I'm going to touch only one point. And with this I'm going to want to end. Because I want you to remember it. The Zohar HaKadosh. Today we're going to go in a little Kabbalah. The Zohar HaKadosh, Binyamin write, The Zohar HaKadosh asking a question, $1 million questions. One of the process of being healed, of recovering from this skin disease, is that after 7 days, sometimes even longer, a person have to come back and you have to bring sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice, Emmanuel, that the person is bringing? What kind of? 2 small bird. Bird, you know bird? The one that fly? Bird. 2 small bird. Very rare. We never give bird. We give sheep. We give cow. We give other things. Never bring
animals, not sheep.
Animals, I'm sorry. We bring animals. We don't bring bird. One of the only cases in the Torah that the person have to bring is which? A person with leprosy. Why bird? Why bird? Any ladies, can you tell me why? You're supposed to relate to it. Why? Don't be offended. I said ladies. I said anyone. Shh. I said ladies. This is what I remember. Okay? Any ladies to answer the questions will get free breakfast for her and the husband. Open press, חודחת וחודה בשקור. Baruch Hashem. Any way you want it. Open press, free, you and your husband, romantic breakfast. Any breakfast you want, sunny side up, sunny side down, Shakespeare with love, how do you call it? Cappuccino, mochaccino, smoothie, whatever you want. Sponsored by Rochelle and his wife. I see that they're in a good mood. Why? Now Rochelle, tomorrow morning, you wake up 1 hour before to go to the work. We approve it? Ladies only. Why 2 birds? Why birds?
Could it be because birds fly and when you say like words, then they're gone?
Amazing. Free sample cappuccino. Almost. No. By the way, it's amazing, but almost. You get in there. מתחמם. You know מתחמם? You know these games that getting hot. Yes. נו סתם, free breakfast, יאללה.
רגע, אני לא בטוחה מה זה.
הרבנית, if you answer.
They're chirping.
Meaning?
They're talking.
It's סיכום.
My name is Rabbi Vaknin, and I approve this message. Tomorrow we have breakfast at Open Place. On the house, Baruch Hashem, b'nei Harav. And what is the job for? I said women can relate to it. Because when a woman tells you have something short to tell you, meaning 45? 1 hour and 45 minutes. If she tells you something important, you're not going to sleep the whole night. like the book, right? No, ladies, don't get offended. This is 10 minutes, you know. If a woman tells you something important, prepare yourself yoga the whole night you're going to go. Why? If they tell you something short, meaning 45 minutes, minimum. If this is so... The question that the Zohar HaKadosh asks is a brilliant question. Avram, listen to the questions. Dr. Avram. The question is, what do we do with these 2 birds? One of them we sacrifice, one of them we kill in the altar, and the other one we release. Now my question to you, if you answer these questions, you're getting that breakfast, lunch and dinner, Sponsored by Binyamin. Kapara. Binyamin is in a good mood. Binyamin is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You, your wife. Binyamin can afford it. Let them have it. Why not? Why not? Binyamin. Now listen to this. You, your wife, and another couple. Any resort you want, Kapara. Listen, don't worry, it's not gonna be easy. Wait, $1 million questions, the Zohar Kadosh. And that questions and that message will change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. When you making money, you enjoy. When I say Torah, I enjoy the same way that you make money. People see me so. Why are you passionate? So why are you passionate when you're making money? Did I ever ask you why? Why when you're making 10,000 you jump in and you get dizzy? And when I study Torah I cannot be happy. Why? What's the problem? I don't understand. Now Rabbi, for me, this Dvar Torah is better for many money that you made today and the last year or 3 years. This one is a life changing. Are you ready for it? Everybody together? You ready? Yes. Come the Zohar Kadosh and write, Michael, please answer the questions. I need you to answer, Michael, please.
What's the question?
The question is this. If you're planning to send one boat away, so why you catch it in the first place? Why you catch the first one is to sacrifice. Why you catch the second one, if you're planning, catch one and that's it. Good question, huh? The question is good, no? The question is solid. You see, Binyamin is looking and he's getting nervous. Thank God you mentioned only Michael. Thank God you didn't mention everyone. You see, not only that, I see in his eyes he's looking next to the air condition. Rabbi, open the air condition. It's too hot. Binyamin, relax, we can afford it, don't worry. Okay, no problem. Yes.
You can attach a little letter with the bird.
And
So it's your messenger.
messenger of what?
Rabbi.
And a second. What do you say?
It's chirping. It's gonna go talk.
And,
Tell everybody else.
but you have to do tshuva. Lashon hara meaning we have to kill the bird in order to fix all the bad speech. Why you send it away?
To say good things. So they stop talking the Shema. That's what she meant.
זה בשביל לאיים עליך, ושתראה שאם תעשה ההפך, ישחררו אותך.
You're supposed to sprinkle the blood of the bird on the second bird so that when he flies away, that people know that this is was
Who's
the
gonna
second
get that
one.
answer right now?
No.
That's a tough answer.
This is nice, but Stav almost touched it.
לא, היא אמרה, אני רק הסברתי מה שהיא
It
אמרה.
was beautiful.
לא,
You know-
לא. היא אמרה, ואני רק הסברתי
אוקיי.
את מה שהיא ניסתה להגיד.
What did you have to say, Mr. Shalom? What did you have to say?
It's gonna go chirping
And
to all the other birds.
to let them know what exactly they see in
To
that
let
video.
them know that, I don't know, look what happened.
Almost. Listen to this. Come the Zohar Kadosh and said like this. Do you know why we have two boards and one of them will send, one of them will leave, one of them will kill? Because a person will be judged in the same exactly ways. You're going to be punished for the Lashon Hara, for the best speech that you made. And in the same way, you're going to be punished for the compliment that you never give. For the Lashon Tov that you never spoke. Why are you being so cheap to tell your wife that you're lucky to be married with her, that she's the most beautiful person next to you? Why? When we give in compliment, we are so reserved and cheap. When your husband is doing something good, you're holding yourself until you say something good, you have to wait 20 years. But when you're doing something bad, all day long you remind him, you didn't do this and you didn't do this. And the guy went into shopping, 2 hours spent in bingo, bought everything, he forgot 1 item. All what you remind him is the item that he forgot. You see, I cannot trust you. I will never send you to shopping. He was driving 1 hour, 2 hours over there, 1 hour back, 4 hours, and all what you did them. I cannot trust you. You see, you're not responsible. What kind of husband? I made a mistakes. I was under pressure. Community. You see, I knew that maybe I can find something better. Because of what? He forgot salt. Or he forgot sugar. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. A human being will be judged exactly in the same ways. Exactly. For the good things that you resolve and you didn't speak. That Lashon HaTov, you have obligation to speak. One bird you kill for the best things that you spoke. That one you kill. And the other part you said to tell you, continue to speak, but this time you're going to speak only good. This time you're going to speak only good. This one, you're going to talk unlimited. They call it Lashon HaTov. Not Lashon Hara. Lashon HaTov. You wake up in the morning and you tell your wife or you tell your husband, my dear husband, I love you. I'm lucky to be your wife. Thank you very much for having such a gift. You are a gift in my life. Do you know what Lashon HaTov is doing? Build the human being. Build the human being. I don't know if I ever told you these stories. In London, it was a businessman that went in from New York. A religious guy, not a rabbi, religious. Long beard, long this. He went and he was in a diamond business. He went into London to sell few diamonds. Rochelle and his Shlomo, not Shlomo, Zion, in his suitcase, he had maybe $500,000 diamonds. He's going in, he's walking on the street. He realized that, I don't know, a shadow is following him. Until he recognized the shadow, 3 guys surround him. Give me the luggage. 3 giant monsters. One of them in the middle, he looks like he's the boss, and 2 in the corners. Now he's in the corner, no camera, no nothing. A knife open. You have exactly 3 seconds to give us the luggage. Now, the diamond is not even him. He took the damage, you just have to make the profit. He's going to lose $500,000, and from this $500,000, only $100,000 belong to him. The other 400 is not even. What do you do in this case?
Give it.
You give it. Obvious. You know what he did? Something much smarter. He looked at the guys, he recognized who's the boss, and he looked at them. He said, I'm sorry to tell you, but it doesn't fit you. Your face is such a beautiful face. You look like such a refined human being. It doesn't fit you to be like a low-life stealing. You stealing, you become a low-life, a ganav. This is what you need. What do you need, Behmet? Why you come to steal from? What do you need? He said, honestly speaking, I need 200 euro. This is what I need. 200. He took 400. He gave it to him. He said, take. Go and buy food. Go. You're such a good. You look like such a smart guy. You can be such a successful human being. And they left. They give them 400 euro and they left. One day later in the morning, day after, when this guy is going to the synagogue, he sees these robbers, a goy, waiting outside. A true story. Now he was afraid. Maybe he came back. But thank God, this time he didn't care because he had only that feeling with him. He didn't have the luggage. He said, now you can come. He said, yes, how can I help you? He said, I just came to tell you, thank you. He said, before you tell me thank you, can you explain me why yesterday you didn't took the luggage? Now I can ask you, why not? Why you didn't took the luggage? I don't understand. He said, my dear friends, no one ever, included my parents, ever told me that I'm smart, that I can be successful in life. How can I steal a human being that gave me the first time so many compliments? Do you hear that? The Zohar Kadosh writes, you're going to be punished, and big punishment, the same way that Lashon Hara is the worst sin. You're going to be punished for all the compliment, for all the good reward that is in the sea. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed.
Very nice.
Wow.